You may begin.
So, leadership. The definition of leadership is the action of leading a group of people or an organization.
So some tips for being a better leader is to encourage creativity with your peers and serve as a role model for them as well. And be passionate about what you guys are doing, because that's very important. And listen and communicate effectively, because if you can't communicate, and it's hard to get anything done. And have a positive attitude, because if you're going to degrade your peers, then you'll never get anything done either. And motivate them as well. That's very important. And then follow your own advice, because if you're going to tell them what to do and you don't do it, you just kind of look like a hypocrite. And some examples of leaders are Martin Luther King Jr., Chad Sawyer, and Donald Trump.
Thank you.
You want
Which one of these doesn't fit? No, thank you guys. I appreciate that.
Next is critical thinking and problem solving. The definition is the objective analysis and evaluation of an issue in order to form a judgment.
Some tips to critical thinking and problem solving would be like keep an open mind, new ideas, but it's also listen to other people's opinions and ideas, because you got to take other people's aspect or take other people's ideas into aspects as well. Listen more. Listen more than you talk. Sometimes you can be wrong. It's a very important thing to accept that you're wrong sometimes. Number 3, be willing to experiment, challenge yourself. I mean, that's always important. Don't rush to a judgment. Don't be biased. Number 5 is reassess. I can't read. Constantly ask biased questions. So constantly basic questions.
There you go. Yep.
All right. Number 6 would seek facts, not opinions. Facts are more credible. So.
You guys have any questions, thoughts, comments?
Good job.
Yeah, good job. One quick question. You guys talked about leaders you thought did a good job. Can you think of an example of a poor leader? Well, his goals were poor, but his leadership was pretty effective. Yeah.
Gotta give credit for credit.
Well, again, it's difficult to frame that question carefully, but leaders that don't accomplish their goals, like Osama bin Laden, his goal was to hurt America, and he certainly realized that goal. So his leadership, as terrible as it was effective. Yeah, Elizabeth Warren in our campaign, and Bloomberg in their campaign.
Any other one that's not president.
Yeah.
I mean,
That's true.
Okay, let me ask a question though. So you've got these 2 competencies and you gave tips. So what is something tangible and practical that I could do with leadership?
starting like a organization, like a charity organization, and leading that and founding it and like expanding it, or a club too, or leading like a sports team or powerlifting, something like that.
Okay. So let's go over to critical thinking and problem solving. What would be something practical?
Take like a difficult class instead of just trying to take the easy way out.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, well put.
I feel like we naturally critical think a lot in school, so that's a main way.
Okay, critical thinking is also kind of taking parts from different things. So if you look at your academics right now and your classes that you've taken over your high school career, what are some classes that you feel like you've drawn things from other classes to bring together? As you were saying, you critically think a lot. What are some things, some parts you've brought into other classes? Can you give us an example?
Well, this class will definitely help a lot with things like that.
Maybe in sports on your tennis team?
Yeah, I guess.
Because sometimes people have a hard time in academics seeing how things you're doing in the classroom connect to what you're going to be doing in the workplace eventually. So sometimes it's good to think about, why am I taking Algebra 2? Or why am I doing this English paper? Or why am I doing these things? Help connect those things to some of these competencies that you see going on. So sometimes that's the hardest thing, is getting things you're thinking of in the classroom out into the real world. So y'all did a great job. Thank you.
All right, excellent.